2017 spring training was my first time showing up to spring where I was like, I'm making the opening day roster. I'm going to be on the team. Dude, I had these crazy migraines. I was getting like really horrible headache, like exertion headaches anytime I would pitch or like push a sled or jump rope, like head just pounding. I was sleeping like 11, 12 hours. I'm a early bird. I need like 7, 8 hours. So like there were some alarms, but I just, didn't really notice it. We were in Cincinnati one night. I was just watching TV late night, had my hand in my pants and felt something. And like, dude, it was weird. I instantly knew. I didn't even like have to see a doctor. I was just like, I know that's not right. It's kind of an eerie story. I go to the field that day.
Goosebumps you said that, man.
I pitched that night. That next day, I go to the field. I tell our trainers, they kind of like, they're like trying to keep it together, kind of not like scare me, but they're like, when we get back to Pittsburgh tomorrow, we're going to have you get that check ASAP. So sounds really cheesy, but like baseball being there for me is, I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have baseball.
Jameson Taillon, one of the funniest teammates I've had, even though it was only for about a month and a half, whatever it was.
You got done wrong by the Cubbies.
I got fired for sure. It's all good, but we're in a good spot, buddy. We're in a good spot.
None of the first basemen from 23 are with us.
Dude,
Mervis gone.
So
Trey.
Mancini, that group we had of new guys in spring training, Belly,
electric.
Oh man, dude, it was some of the funniest
a
times
good crew.
I've had. And I will say, dude, outside, San Diego was fun, especially when Manny got there, but outside Kansas City, that was the most fun I've had.
That was a fun
little
run.
Especially
I'm starting to feel a little jealous about this Cubbies team now.
Yeah, the Cubbies, I'm telling you, man, the Cubbies got it figured out, right? All the amenities, everything they got going on.
Oh, it's awesome.
You've played in some big markets, dude. We're gonna get into all of this stuff,
Can't wait.
To break the ice, buddy,
wait.
I gotta tell these guys and share the insight, and I hope you tell this story. So we're in the off season. I'm watching all these games, and I'm active on X, right? I'm active on Twitter, X, whatever it is, and I just got stuff to say.
I still call it Twitter.
I still call it Twitter too. It feels right. You still call it tweets, right?
I don't tweet.
So I should have looked immediately that way. Yeah. So I have an opinion on everything now in these games, right? So I see Rizzo and he keeps doing these mound visits. And as a first baseman, I'm like, why does this dude keep going to the mound? Like, what the fuck is going on? So naturally I said something about it. And obviously I love Rizzo. He's the man.
He's a beauty.
And I think I even said that in the tweet too. I was like, I have nothing but respect for Rizzo, but what the hell's going on here? What's happening?
No one loves a mound visit more than
they
put the 5 visit rule in place because of him.
I think
it
might even be 7 now. So I get a text from Jamo right after that tweet, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever read, dude. I'm hoping you share that story with us.
Down.
Yes.
You want me to wait? You want me to hold it?
Right now, buddy. Come on, please. Come on.
Yeah, so I was in Tampa one time, and I think it was like the 8th inning. My bad. And my velo starts dropping a little bit. I'm like falling behind a guy. Rizzo comes out, and like we both had cancer and stuff. So he comes out and he's like, "Hey, I know you only have 1 nut, but like I want you to pitch right here like you have 2. let him hang out." He goes back to his position. I'm like, I don't know how to feel about that. I ended up striking the guy out. Riz was like, "Fuck yeah." Like, I know you only got 1, but like, come on, let him hang here.
Dude, let him
I need you to drag him right now, buddy.
Oh my God, amazing, man. So again, Chicago, New York. Okay, so timeout. Born in Lakeland, high school in Texas, pitched for Team Canada.
Dude.
We're good friends, but where the fuck are you from? What is going on here, pal?
I identify as a Texan.
Okay.
We moved there when I was 3.
Okay, so no hockey talk.
But I love me some Canada.
Hockey.
There
we go.
Spent a lot of time up there in the summers and stuff growing up. But like doing Team Canada was cool because I did it more for my parents. Like I think it was really cool for them to see me rock the jersey. I would have loved to play for Team USA. Not good enough. Like, I'll go pitch for Canada.
Definitely good enough, dude, because honestly, I remember you were so highly touted at a young age. Team Canada, it's like they didn't put you in a weird situation, but a lot of times they're like, hey, we need this kid in the WBC, and you were going through some different stuff in your career. obviously, like you just said, cancer being one, man. And that, again, Mancini being there in Chicago was what made, for me, that group that much more special, hearing what you guys went through. But, I mean, there's so many different ways we can go about it, man. But again, Canada, they wanted to speed that up because when you go over your career, in my opinion, it's a weird development, dude, because you have the injuries early on, stuff pops up, and then you get thrown into New York. And it's like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah. I got traded to New York coming off my second TJ, and it's like, I mean, I had changed my mechanics. I changed everything. I was like, I don't know if I'm even good anymore. Like, I don't know. And then it's like, you know, you're one of the 5 starters for the Yankees. Go figure it out. It ended up being okay, but like,
I mean, I'm sure we'll dig into this mentally.
Yeah.
I couldn't, let alone being on the New York Yankees, but you're one of the 5 guys. I mean, that's crazy. And us being guys that love, you know, wine and cocktails, but as a pitcher, you truly are like a fine wine because this development is. Hey, you scratch my back, I scratch you. You know what I mean? This is podcasting. This is what we're doing. So it's like you're continuing to develop, you know, not only physically as a pitcher, might be at the end of that point, get pretty old, but mentally, it's like the stuff you went through early on, man, that's crazy. Gerrit Cole was a big part of that, but let's go through that ride, buddy. I know I took you on the.
I got asked. I was doing something yesterday, and I got asked like, "What's the hardest pitch you've ever thrown?" I was like, "Probably like 99 or 100." And the embarrassing thing is, I think I was like 17 in high school. Like, haven't done that in pro ball.
Nothing embarrassing.
I left those bullets at the Woodlands High School when I was 17. But yeah, dude. I mean, the velo's definitely not what it used to be. But I was talking about this with Matt Boyd at Stretch yesterday. Like, Cubs camp right now, it's out of control. So many dudes are throwing 100 miles an hour. I mean, there's velo and stuff everywhere. And there was a time in my life where like I'd be really like embarrassed about like, oh, dude, I only throw 92, 93. Like, what are all these guys doing? They're gonna take my job. And it's like, as I've gotten older, I've gotten way more confident about like, I know when I'm out there, I can execute a pitch when I need to. I wish I had more of that when I was with Premier stuff, but that's not how it works. It's all part of the journey.
We talk about that all the time, though. It's like, I never pitched, obviously, but like, there's something to be said about going and facing a guy like you that can command each side of the plate with all pitches that you throw at 92, 93, 94. Those at-bats for me were a lot more uncomfortable than guys that just rear back and rip it because I know I'm going to get something over the heart of the plate at some point in this at-bat, as opposed to you that can like, hey, listen, I'm here, I can spin it there, throw that there. And
I talk to Kyle Hendricks all the time about that. Like, you can game plan for Kyle Hendricks, and you can be like, all right, I want to wait for a pitch to leak over the middle. It's like you can go a whole game, and as a hitter, you might not get one that day.
Yeah.
Like, you just might not get a pitch to hit because his command's that good.
Yeah.
I remember talking to him about that and being like, I want that. I want people to say that about me.
I faced Hendricks a bunch, and like, you look at the numbers on the sheet before you get into the game, and you're like, oh, 88, 91, like change-up, fastball, curveball. It's like, okay, like, this is going to be a great day for me. It's the exact opposite. It's the most uncomfortable bat ever because he throws the heater, and then right behind it's that Bugs Bunny changeup. You don't know which one you're getting. And it's on the line every single time.
It seems like the trend with pitching for all the guys we've talked to is like you learn young that stuff matters, but it's not as important as execution because I need to pitch through a lineup, I need to execute this game plan. And that could be pepper in the outer half, pepper in the inner half, whatever that is. Now the game seems like you need to spin it to that side and get there, which is crazy. But
talk about how many guys are throwing 100 right now. There's got to be some. Where do you think the balance is going to come from? Because I feel like every team is looking for that standout metric, and then they can find a way to turn them into a pitcher rather than taking a pitcher and having them develop.
Dude, I'm all in on. I think the next big movement is going to be pitchability. I think it's coming back. Like 5-6 pitches to different areas, being able to, it's like, people added the sweeper, like the big sweeping sliders. I added one of those in 23, and it's like, well, they're really good because you don't really see that many.
Right.
And then now it's like, well, 100's really, really good, but now hitters are starting to see it more. So it's like, yeah, it's still special, and the numbers show that throwing hard helps. But like, I really think pitchability is coming back.
It is because a lot of that too with stuff, it's like it's not that. We all saw the stuff and it's like, yeah, you see 100 and now it's more regular, but the way hitters are training now, man, they have these foam balls and guys are hitting velo machines at 150 miles an hour, dude. So they are ready for it.
I threw a backfield game the other day, and like I did pretty well, but I gave up some hard hits to, some double flat minor league guys, and I'm like, dude, they were ready for. I mean, I threw a kid like a backdoor cutter to a lefty, which is like my best pitch, and he like rakes it in the left center gap, and I'm like, dude, what the heck? And they're like, oh yeah, they were facing you on the traject inside. Like they're 10 at bats deep on you. They were in the cage, doing that simulated thing where they see you.
I was telling the guys,
fair.
The 1 year I was there, we had Mitch Keller there for like a month and a half, and I'm like, oh man, when Mitch Keller gets up, he has no idea what's coming for him. We just had him on the trajectory for a month and a half, dude. But yeah, it's like you need to be able to execute to pitch through a lineup, right? Like you need to be able to throw to that game plan, whatever that chart is. And like, that's where the game has come to now, is not only do you need to pepper these corners or whatever the game plan is, you have to spin the ball to these spots now. It's just crazy.
Dude, coming up with the Pirates, you were talking about uncomfortable. I don't know if you guys played the Pirates coming up, but like it was all about making guys uncomfortable. And I thought the only way to do that was by hitting guys.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, dude, if I threw a strike in the minor leagues, it was mandated next pitch, fastball at the ribs. Like, make him get out of the way, make him feel it. Like, I was pitching in.
Yeah.
And then I got to the big leagues, and I was talking to David Freese one time, and he's like, bro, if you hit me, that's not uncomfortable. What's uncomfortable is like facing Jacob deGrom and getting like 3 straight 98-mile-an-hour fastballs down and away. Dog.
Yeah.
Like, that's uncomfortable.
Oh my God.
If you hit me, like, I don't really care. I'm just going to get right back up there.
That was kind of the NL Central guy, a known thing that those years, Pittsburgh, I mean, that was kind of not their message to pitchers, but sometimes the tendency leaned that way. That's kind of a league-wide known thing for sure.
Who are some either former teammates or coaches that have helped shape the kind of pitcher you are today?
Dude, I don't know if we have enough time.
We got time.
We're only prepared for one of them.
Well, it was a layup for you.
Yeah.
Lay it back in our court, please.
David Freese was a big one. He wasn't even a pitcher, but talking to him. Gerrit Cole, big one. Obviously, like he's a good dude to learn from, but he's probably number one, Gerrit Cole. Like as far as a guy being invested in your career and being in your corner, and just being a great guy to learn from.
What in particular about him?
He's one of the most talented players in the world, but like, I mean, you guys know, starting pitchers aren't always in the dugout watching every pitch and hanging on every pitch. Gerrit Cole's out there for 9 innings, and he'll watch like hitters' swings and go up to you after you're at bat and be like, this is what I'm seeing with your swing. And sometimes, you might take that the wrong way, but it's like, this dude is in the fight with you every pitch.
Yeah.
He knows what I'm working on because he comes to my bullpens, and then he sits outside for 9 innings and watches the entire game. And he'll come up to you after and be like, I saw you before the game working on this, and I thought it came out to play in the game and stuff like that. Just over the top, dialed.
We talk about that a lot about starting pitchers. It's like, you guys only throw once every 5 days. What are you doing the other 4 days? Are you on the rail, like being invested? And it's awesome to hear that, like, G. Cole's like that. I never thought he wasn't like that, but like to get that information, it's like G. Cole.
If there's a benches clearing brawl, he's going to be the first person out there.
I love that.
Love that.
100%.
Love that.
For me, Gerrit Cole just seems like a one-stop shop. Like he seems like the most talented guy, the smartest guy. Like, how do you train? How do PT work? Like, pitch.
If I were an owner and I were
stuff.
investing in a player, like, that's who I'm giving money to.
Yeah.
Dude, my list keeps going. Joe Musgrove. I can't leave people out, dude. Joe
It's
Musgrove,
like a thank you speech.
Musk.
It's a
Like,
big debate online. I don't know who gave me the idea. You were Joe Musgrove. We'll get to that one later. But no, Gerrit, he does. It's that one-stop shop. No, like everything in the game, especially now with the pitch shapes, and then 1 year the trend is the four seam, and then the sweeper. Being his teammate, like it just seems this is stuff you got to go to all these different outlets to get, and he's just that one-stop shop.
the sickest thing about like superstar players is like he's got a target on his back every 5 days, and he's freaking ready every 5 days.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge has a target on his back every at bat. Like he gets everyone's best stuff. Gerrit gets everyone's best shot, and like they're still who they are, which is wild.
What about New York and Chicago, man? Those are huge markets, but so different at the same time, right? Not many people get to experience both. So that's something. How do you kind of explain the difference in both those?
I love New York. It's a lot. Like just living there, not even playing there. The baseball side, being a Yankees, awesome. But the city's like just a lot. Some days I would need to like pull the curtains and just like sit inside and not leave my apartment.
Right.
Chicago's much more like approachable, livable. Like I have a car again. I'm driving. both great baseball cities. Chicago in the summer though, hopping on a boat and like doing that whole thing,
Lakeshore.
tough to beat.
Oh man, you know what's funny? So it's like when another common theme, people like Gerrit, when you said he's out there with you in your bullpens and he knows, like we always talk about the mental side when you're vulnerable there, but like when people know in baseball what you're working on, and you, like Moose in the cage, he knows what I'm working on. So when you get those small wins and it happens in the game, for him to come in the dugout and kind of boost that up, that means so much as a teammate, dude. So much.
I was actually going to ask, because I asked coaches and players, and immediately you went to players. No offense to coaches. I'm sure there's a lot of coaches as well that you could definitely mention. But a question I have for all of you guys is like, did you notice as you got further along in your careers, it seemed like you relied more on your peer-to-peer relationships than, again, no offense to the coaches. I think coaches are great. We need coaches. But I don't know. It seemed like you all relied on each other for that second set of eyes than coaches. I don't know.
Well, coaches have one opinion, whereas when you're talking to multiple guys, multiple teammates over multiple teams, there might be that one little sugar pill that someone gives you that he hasn't thought about. And you're right, it's not against coaches because they've got a tough job. They've got to manage 15 pitches or however many pitches it ends up being. So the more opinions you can get from the more people, the better off you are finding a result. Or it could be a sugar pill, it could be something that actually fixes you. But you just, especially when you're struggling, to have somebody to sound off of and figure out what the hell that they've dealt with and what you need to fix.
A teammate.
Yeah. I feel like if I have somebody that's going through what I'm going through, like he's stepping in the same box I'm stepping in, like we're actually actively going through it together at the same time, like that I can get better information from him because he's actually going through that fight with me. And I'm sure it's the same with guys on the rubber. Like you step on the rubber, the coach is there to help you, but he's not pitching in front of 30, 40,000 people, however many it is, trying to get the best hitters in the world out, and I'm trying to get hits off the best pitchers in the world.
And Jamo too, also explain to people like how with coaches in the big leagues, it's more of the numbers and like the trends of what's happening, right? So like, hey man, like Moose isn't swinging at breaking balls. Let's dump one in there for strike one, because you're doing all your work on the fly. And I think the coaches at that big league level, that's what you need. You need to know the numbers. You need to know the trends, because you got to continue on with your routine to where the player, it's like, dude, we're in this fight together. Like Gerrit, you were a two-seam guy. Now you're throwing four seams. Would you feel the difference? What you can just relate more to that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think I'm spoiled. I've had some freaking awesome pitching coaches, but like Tommy Hotovy here with the Cubs, I think he's the best at what he does at blending it. He played very analytical. He learned what I like to see on like a scouting report, and he's like started printing it out and leaving it at my chair. So like that, and just keeping me on track. I know what I need, but he oversees my throwing program, and he'll nudge me in the right direction if I need. But like some of the most valuable things I've gotten from teammates and like tidbits are just like sitting on an airplane, having a bourbon and talking ball. That's where like the magic happens. And it doesn't have to be drinking, but like, just the late night hangs after games and, someone's in Hosmer's suite, like that kind of stuff is where I've gotten the most value.
Off the field. You just got to change the scenery.
It's such a common thread and like topic for all of us. And with every guest we bring in here, it's like the off the field stuff, the hanging out in the rooms, the dinners, like that's where you get the most valuable information.
You can see the teams that do it too. It's so obvious the teams that enjoy. When you look at the reaction of other players when other people are having success, you can tell the teams that have bought in, and you can tell the teams that are just completely separate. It's so obvious.
Even during the game, when you're in your dugout, you can look at the other side of the other dugout and see how close or not close they are. Have you guys noticed that? Like you just feel even during early work, even the way they take BP, you can look and be like, oh, you can kind of get a sense of the culture of that team.
And then, so I love that you've been through this as well, because you can speak on how, as a young player, you look up to the guys that, got contracts, that got paid, and they're the ones that are taking us to dinners and taking us off the field and hosting that stuff. And then now you have gone through the full cycle of being that guy, and kind of like, it's like said but unspoken about, if that makes sense. But it's an unspoken rule that you have to do that stuff. You, Dansby, all that kind of thing. So, do you feel that part now?
Yeah. I mean, I'll never forget, I threw a really good game in Pittsburgh on a getaway day. Cervelli caught me, get on the flight, pours me like this crazy bottle of wine. And then he's like, hey, when we get to Chicago, I'm taking you to dinner. Just me and him. He was my battery mate that day. We had a great game. We went to RPM Steak. opened some crazy wine, ate a crazy meal, wearing our show suits back when you had to wear suits in the big leagues. Those are the moments I'll never forget. So yeah, dude, like I'm always trying to host and put things on. And
that's a catcher from Venezuela, a pitcher from Lakeland, Canada, Texas, all come together
just merging
for one dinner there.
Yeah,
and then
dude.
Chicago too, no better place to do that.
Yeah.
And you're a foodie guy too. I mean, that's right up your alley, no?
Right up my alley.
Musgrove, all you guys.
The word gets around. Somehow, like a bunch of our new players this spring have been coming up to me and they're like, hey, I heard you like some good food. Like, I'm going to need your list.
Done.
Like,
Done. You're salty. That means you're salty now, buddy.
Yep.
Because they're like, hey, man, I'm in this city. Where should I go? What should I do here? Tommy Hotovy, we both played with him in Kansas City, man. It was my first spring training AB, and it's kind of like right on right against Pete. But Tommy, sidewinder guy, he was throwing Frisbees in there. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know why the Royals did that, because my April suffered because of it. But you said blend. What he does well is blend the analytics, kind of old school, new school, like blend. I call it translate, but I love that word. How important is that for a player to be able to blend the analytics to you guys?
I mean, it's huge. Like, I don't personally need to be coached by hearing like, hey, you need to put 10% more pressure on your big toe and, your posture is off by 3 degrees of flexion. Like, Tommy does a really nice job of understanding all the biomechanics and stuff while also being able to translate it. So he might want me to move faster when I'm throwing, like move quicker down the mound. And instead of telling me that, he'll be like, hey, today when you're throwing, I want to see you like move your feet and act like an infielder or whatever. And that's his way of translating it to me. But also like, dude, I was really struggling in 23 and I didn't feel comfortable here yet or with the Cubs. I'm out there grinding. I'm this new guy with a contract and I'm stinking.
My friend just got fired.
Yeah, my friend got fired. It's a jungle. It's a jungle.
It's a jungle.
It really is.
Another common theme.
Hotovy came and sat down next to me, and like his version of coaching that day was just like to put his arm around me and have a bourbon with me, and just like he's like, hey, we're gonna get through this. Like, I don't want you to stress or lose sleep. Like, I'm working behind the scenes to get you right. Like, we got this. And that was his version of coaching that day. It wasn't analytical. It was just like, I'm here, and that's cool.
Elite feel, Pete. Please answer this honestly. When Jameson says, I want to feel this pressure on my big toe, 10%, whatever it is, does that sound crazy to you?
It sounds a little crazy to me just because you probably grew up with force plates and all the rest of it so you can measure all that stuff. Whereas we would have feel, but it would be more of a general feel. They've been able to break it down now to individual parts, wrists, fingers, release. It's so technical now that and plus I don't have the brain capacity to obviously break down at 10%. Let's be honest, we all know who I am. So that is a little nuts to me.
That's still, so I love it because the blend word is so key to me because that my last 2 years, and I don't know how you feel about this, but my last 2 years of my career, I was trying for that 10%.
Right.
I'm like, okay, let me see if let me try that out. You know what I mean? But like Tommy being able to blend it and creating a goal of throwing like an infielder to get that 10% is the coaching that I needed. So like, I knew you would think that was crazy.
Yeah, but I do use throw like an infielder because a lot of guys, because it's become so technical, you see a lot of guys will literally break down their throwing to the point where they come robotic. And it's like the release is different, the breaking stuff is different.
I can be guilty of that.
Everything changes.
Yeah.
So you get around, one of my off-season workouts was to run around with a football. I know it sounds funny, but I'd run sideways and throw the football this way. I'd run that way and throw the football that way. And
like
it just
being an athlete.
cleaned everything up so much that when you pick up a baseball, I'd make guys field ground balls at shortstop and throw it to first, because a lot of these guys, especially in Australia, they've played multiple positions and they know that that's their natural throwing. If they can get back to a base point, then the rest of it comes.
I feel like my whole career, my baseball life was those drills to create that 10%. And then I felt like the last couple of years, I tried to just like, the coaching was
Figure
like,
it
hey,
out.
feel this 10%.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know.
How do I get that?
I can't do this. For me, that kind of style of coaching I didn't think that worked for me at all.
I got lucky at the end of my career, and when I ended up in Colorado and Anaheim, I ended up with some good hitting coaches that knew who I was. I didn't come up on this stuff, so I couldn't tell you what 10% in my back toe felt like. They knew I was just a hitter, and I knew how I felt that day, and they were able to just drive that into me. And I think that's a huge huge thing for a coach to be able to do is notice who you are and what you're capable of doing and coach to you like as a person, not like, oh, we're doing this generic thing now where 10% on your back leg is what we need out of you. It's like, no, Moose, we need you to just sit back a little bit further and wait a little bit, something like that.
Yeah, it could be as simple as literally like, hey, that 10% on your back foot, like let's just go infield in. Let's go around to 5 infield in, get the ball in the air.
Yeah.
And now you're like, that's that 10%.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That to me, that is what Tommy, a guy that's played, and now he can be able to blend that analytics. Because to me, he reads what the analytic is telling him, or the analytics, the numbers, and he's saying, okay, how do I now create this to blend and translate to Jamo? And I think that's flawless.
I
really
think
do.
like something Tommy does really well. We're just all over Tommy, but something he does really well is like he'll present you the complicated information, and then I'll say, can you translate it? And then he's like, yeah, so I just want you to throw like an infielder. So like last year we were playing the White Sox and I had been struggling a little bit. He calls me in, shows me like my biomechanics skeleton. He's like, this was you in spring, this is you now. You're more flexed, your arm is a little longer, you're moving a little slower down the mound. And he empowers me with like showing me that. And then he's like, tomorrow let's like go out there early, do some early work, and just like, I want you to be an athlete.
How long did that relationship take for you and Tommy to get that simple in translation?
Probably like half of my first year, I would say.
And we're digging deep. Was this, do you think, lack of trust on your part, kind of feeling out the situation?
Yeah.
I just don't know. Do I evaluate whether or not I can trust this guy or not? Like you're that free agent in the big leagues.
It's pretty funny. So last night, so when we have home games, something Counsell really likes doing is like individual times. So like home games are for you. So it's like whatever you want to get better at today, you are empowered to like, if you're a hitter, you could be like, I want to do infield in drills, or I want to just focus on my defense today, or the weight room, whatever. And on the pitching side, they'll just like circle some guys and be like, hey, you 5 guys, I want to watch you play catch and like have private time with you. So I texted Tommy last night. I was just like, hey, do you think I could get some eyes on my catch play today? Like, I'd love to kind of have you one-on-one. And he's like, dude, that's freaking crazy, because he's still at the field. He has like the whiteboard written with everyone's names. He's like, I just penciled you in for early work. And today I got to the field and I was like, it's year 3, dude. Like we're finishing each other's sentences now.
Remember we took the Bobby D when the backhand situation I was saying? It's like we're so in sync as an infield coach. I don't even have to miss. I just catch a couple backhands and we both know it's sloppy in what we work on. So then like immediately in the dugout, it's like tomorrow we got to do backhands.
Yeah.
Like we're that in sync.
You brought up Counts. I got to play for Counts in Milwaukee. I think Counts is unbelievable again about that blend of analytics from the top and being able to, translate it to the players on the field, because he's a guy that played, and I think he's a phenomenal manager. How is it with him, like being in charge of what you guys are doing?
He's sharp. Like he's really sharp.
Yes.
I think it's cool to show up every day and be like, I'm playing for the smartest guy in the room. Like you show up to the yard and you're like, well, I know we're not going to get outmanaged today.
Yeah.
Like he's on top of everything. But also like sneaky funny.
Really
when he gets
funny.
in front of the room in spring, I'm like, dude, this guy's funny.
Yeah.
He calls up, some guys, interviews them. It's like a get to know your teammates.
Yeah.
And he can like really just control a room, which is funny because in season he's so stoic, and which again is a great trait for a manager. He's not riding the wave. He's just so dialed.
My first spring training with the Brewers, it was like, all right, Moose, stand up. What round you get drafted in? How much did you make? And who'd you hit homers off in here? And
I love that question.
I usually do, but I don't know if I do.
Yeah, I got a question for you guys. So how do you, I just want to take it back real quick. You are all first rounders, you're all early picks. What's it like? I was a free agent signing from another country who came in and looked at you guys and was like, holy, now I'm in trouble. So what was it like for you guys having the full attention of not only by the time you guys got here, it was Baseball America, it was all media and everyone in your team focusing on just you guys as you get there?
I felt like I had a lot more to prove than everybody else since I was as high as a draft pick as I was. I didn't want to be the guy that was just, pushed along. I wanted to earn everything that I got and show everybody that I was deserving of being that second overall pick. And, I think we've talked about it a couple times where I've showed up to camps or showed up to teams and I'm like, wow, I got to work my ass off because all these guys are way better than me right now. And I got to prove that I belong at every level. And for me, it was just that mindset of like, I'm gonna be better than everybody out there, and I just got to work to get there. Yeah,
I think all of us too were in a similar situation because Pittsburgh and Kansas City, they relied on that farm system to get them back to being, in competitive baseball again. So for me personally, it didn't feel, like I've always felt connected with Moose my whole career because we've kind of have been looked at as that group, even to this day. When people say Haas, they say Moose right after. Like they ask, how it is, like, how's Moose? That's the first thing they say. But that's just how our group in Kansas City was always, it was viewed as the group. So that took a lot of pressure, I think, off me, at least individually.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely couldn't agree anymore.
You also had the Canada pressure, like I mentioned in the beginning.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. Like in Pittsburgh, it's weird. I think in Pittsburgh, the fans, I'd go to like a fan fest when I was in the minor leagues and they knew everything about me. And it's like, that's pretty cool. I never thought of it as pressure, honestly. I thought of it as like, that's freaking awesome that these fans are waiting for me to get here. Like, how do they even know who I am? I played in low A last year or whatever. Right. Yeah, dude. I mean, once I got to pro ball, I was okay with it all. But like in high school, looking back, it's like that was a lot to go through as a 17, 18-year-old, having agents calling your house and having financial advisors call your house. And it's like, dude, sometimes you just want to be a kid. My parents took a lot off my plate and like handled a lot and like filtered it out for me. But yeah, it's difficult at that age, especially like going through it.
Yeah, I'm sure, again, with Gerrit, that had to help so much, man, because it's such a similar path, right? I mean, all the way up to Pittsburgh and New York.
Dude, Gerrit used to always say, if we were running around like chickens with our heads cut off, we didn't know where we were supposed to be. We'd always be like, well, if we're together, we can't get in too much trouble. I just want to be near Gerrit. It's like, what are they going to do? Fire Gerrit Cole? They can't fire Gerrit Cole. So if we're late to stretch, I want to walk in with you.
You got the right idea, buddy.
That's feel right there.
That's elite feel, dude.
You were saying something about high school, how difficult it was in high school, and correct me if I'm wrong. What was it about the pressure in high school? How did it affect you? I know your parents were a big part of helping you with that. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, there's scouts doing in-home visits once a week and stuff. It's like, I have friends that are just applying for school and college. And I went through a little bit of, so I've got an injury history. And like, I went through it when I got hurt over and over in the minor leagues where I was like, did I want to do this? Did I pick playing baseball? Because like, I didn't invite these scouts to my house. I didn't invite the agents to my house. Like, they just started showing up because I threw hard. Like, I never announced I want to get drafted. It just happened. So I had this moment when I was hurt where I was just like, kind of just reflected on it all. And I was like, you know what, that was a lot to go through as a young kid, but like, I do want to do this and I do want, to get healthy and make this my career and all that. But it took me a little while to be like, yeah, maybe that was a lot to go through.
Yeah.
How about Jamo, a guy that I've seen, your routine and have nothing but respect for it. And I'm sure all throughout your career that's evolved. A big thing now is that mental side, and especially as a starting pitcher. How has that now evolved in your career, and how much are you doing on the mental side for training?
I mean, I hired someone. That's the start.
Yeah.
Really?
I was struggling in 2023, and do you guys know the name Brian Kane? Do you know who he is? I was struggling in 23, and he actually used to work with my high school a little bit, come talk to us. And I reached out to him and was like, dude, I'm struggling. Like, not
mentally, physically?
All of it. Just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never had a problem with hard work. Like, I love doing the work. But I got to a point where I was like, I don't know what I'm even working for right now. I'm just working. Yeah. I'm just working. I don't really have this like bird's eye view of my career and like where I need to, what bucket I need to put my time and energy into. So we started working together. I'm a diehard note taker before my day, set my intentions after the day, review what I did well and what I want to get better at. Like, I've got, honestly, a big thing that he's on is like organizing your time and your days. That's like cleared up my mental space so much, just being on top of my schedule and knowing every day, like, this is what I'm doing. So yeah, I've started reviewing my outings a lot differently.
That home and away thing with Counts, is that spring training, or is that like where you're at home, that's kind of your thing, on the road? Is that during the regular season as well?
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did some of that, yeah.
What would your routine be on the pitching? Because is it like this 5-day routine that's evolved so much? It's gone from that third day, the bullpen, to like, I mean, polls, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, dude. To where that used to be, hey, get your ass outside and just start running.
Just run.
The day after you pitch, just run.
I mean, you guys are getting massages, you're working out, you have it down to, like you said, the hour.
I've got, like, in season, I've got my 5-day routine printed out on sheets of paper. And like, I'm not tied to it to the point where if I don't get something done, I'm a wreck. But like, I've got each day, I show up and I'm like, okay, here's my options today. Day after I pitch, I might get in the pool, move around, might get in the sauna, the cold plunge, like red light. And I kind of just go through and say, I'm going to pick this, this, and that today. I'm going to do my force frame, my jumps, measure all that. Day 3, I'm going to throw my bullpen. I'm going to lift upper body. I've kind of got it written down for a 7 o'clock game, the timing of it, a 1 o'clock game, the timing of it. And then I'm not obsessive over it, but it just feels really good to have that printed out.
Going back to what you were saying earlier about like making the call and hiring somebody, that's hard to do. Yeah. You know, I was probably 7-8 years in before I made the call. I was like, hey, dude, like I need some help. Like my mental space isn't where it needs to be right now. I need somebody to line me back up and get me dialed back in, and just having the balls to make that phone call. That's what I was getting at.
Perfect transition, right?
Having that to be able to make that phone call and be like, all right, like let's dial it in, because I do want to continue doing this at the highest level, and I know that I need help with this side of my game.
Hearing that, did you want to say something?
I was just thinking before, when you said it was important for me to have my day completely organized, all my time organized, alarms went off, because I literally wake up in the morning and check my calendar and figure out what I'm doing that day. Should I be alarmed at myself?
I do the same thing, and yes, we should, yeah.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, I have a couple of just comments, like just about this entire, what you just said is huge. What people don't understand is when you want to be the best in the world, it's not like it's again, they want to be the best, and the best in the world, it literally is no stone unturned, and they want, how do I take account for my time, my energy, with food and nutrition and body, my attention. So you're gonna learn, you probably already learned, just these guys, these quarterbacks, PGA guys, baseball guys, they're trained on how to think, how to respond to their emotions, to go back and just to look at their decision making. What did I do? Okay, how could I have done that better? Those tiny little things, not because they're mentally weak, but because they just want to get better. But that's the 3 things that where you always start. Building systems around your time, your energy, and attention. And it's amazing. Once you know how you're going to spend your 86,400 seconds a day, like where you're going to go, it's amazing how much that just frees your mind to, as a cliche, keep the main thing. To sit down with a guy and just say, okay, what are your main things? Guys say, like just that alone, what are the things that matter most to me today? Okay, this week, okay, this season. Write it down, look at it, and that right there can just cut through a ton of noise, and then add a whole bunch of other things. But
I got you guys on the calendar today.
Oh, dude,
I'm in there. Like, I'm big on the calendar. Yeah. And I used to not be, and I'd forget things and leave people hanging. And now it's all in the calendar. And I even have like spring training. I get there at 7:45 every day. I have written in there every day for all of spring, 7:30 departure. That's when I'm leaving my house. Just so I don't even have to think about it. It's just all written down.
Right there.
You find yourself with too much free time? Do you notice while you write it down and you map out your schedule, is too much free time bad time?
No, you deserve that, Oz. I deserve a little free time.
My wife gets so mad at me because every morning she's like, okay, this is what we got going on today. I'm like, wow, I didn't know we had that. I was like, well, I told you 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh, should have wrote that one down.
That's what they say. That's why I injured the IL guys. I'm always concerned about guys who are injured, because when you have a guy who's a competitor who has a lot of time with not a lot to do, who's used to being a dog on the mound or in the box, that's the guy who is like gonna go crazy because
I just ate my way through the big leagues.
Yeah, because you just want.
I just picked so many hobbies when I was hurt.
It's like,
see the difference in personalities?
Exactly
I picked hobbies. I picked everything up and put it in my mouth. That was my God, 260. I think I got to my first TJ. Yeah,
figured it out. Going back to Counsell, like when he bench me or like not have me starting that day, he would just like, all right, dude, just go get ready to hit or something. Cause I'm just like on the, like right next to him, like, hey, Counsell, I'm ready to go, like ready to go. And he'd be like, just get out of here, dude. Like, leave me alone. And you know how Counsell is, he's sitting there next to the phone, kind of like pacing back and forth. And I'm just in his ear. He's like, Moose, just go away.
Jamo, man, we were all literally, the fact that we could joke about the fact that you had cancer and laugh about it is a blessing in itself. But, you know, being that healthy that you are now and adding health into your daily routine, Was it, was cancer a big reason because of that, where it's like, man, I'm going to be so in control of my body that like I'm going to know exactly what's going on? And how did that all pop up? Take us through all that.
Yeah, dude, it's weird. So like, I'll just take you all the way back. 2017 spring training was my first time showing up to spring where I was like, I'm making the opening day roster. I'm going to be on the team. Dude, I had these crazy migraines. I was getting like really horrible headache, like exertion headaches anytime I would pitch or like push a sled or jump rope, like head just pounding. I even saw a doctor about it, like at the field. It was like, do I need like a steroid injection or something to like help with this? Yeah. I was sleeping like 11, 12 hours. I'm a early bird. I need like 7, 8 hours. So like there were some alarms, but I just, didn't really notice it. We were in Cincinnati one night. I was just watching TV late night, had my hand in my pants and felt something. And like, dude, it was weird. I instantly knew. I didn't even like have to see a doctor. I was just like, I know that's not right. It's kind of an eerie story. I go to the field that day.
Goosebumps you said that, man.
I pitched that night. That next day, I go to the field. I tell our trainers, they kind of like, they're like trying to keep it together, kind of not like scare me, but they're like, when we get back to Pittsburgh tomorrow, we're going to have you get that check ASAP. So let's just say that's a Thursday. I go out and pitch. I went like 6 innings and gave up like 5 or 6 runs, whatever kind of game. My dad texts me after the game and he's like, hey, is everything all right? Like, something about your face tonight. Like, you just seemed off. Like, something seemed off about you. Like, I watched your post-game thing. I don't have kids, but there's something there about how in tune you are with your kids, I guess. So that was like Thursday, we go back to Pittsburgh. Friday, I get checked out. I have it removed on Monday. So it just like happened so fast. Obviously super lucky to have like access to doctors and stuff. And then I was back in a big league game in like 6 weeks. They gave me the option basically. Like, it was very early stage. They're like, we could do some chemo, make sure we for sure knock this out, or we can monitor you, do blood tests, CT scans, whatever. I chose to monitor it. And yeah, I mean, I was in the hospital, like getting blood drawn and doing CT scans and going to the park and like pitching the next day for pretty much all of 2017. I don't think a lot of people even outside of my family know that I was doing those checkups and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy, but like, sounds really cheesy, but like baseball being there for me was, I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have baseball and like the team. And I remember I was coming back and it's Chad Bettis, he pitched for the Rockies. Mm-hmm. He had testicular cancer and I got his number and we were playing the Rockies at home. And I was just like, dude, am I freaking crazy for trying to like come back this quick? Should I take more time? And I'll never forget what he told me. He was just like, dude, if you think you're ready, who the should tell you when you're ready or not? Like, there's no playbook for cancer. Like, if you think you're ready, like, come on, bring it back. Like, you're back.
That's true.
Yeah, and just like being an athlete, I think you're a little more aware of your body and stuff. And yeah, I just was pretty quick. And ever since then, I've been like very on top of making sure I'm eating right and monitoring everything. And I pay attention to any symptoms that pop up and whatever.
There's something you said about like getting to baseball or having baseball there for you. Like, we talk about it again all the time. It's that safe space for us. It's like getting into that clubhouse, getting on the field, and those 2 hours that you're on the field pitching, it's like everything else is gone. All you're focused on is what's going on right here. And for all of us, like, that was our safe space, is that clubhouse in between those lines. And then afterwards you have to deal with whatever's going on.
I remember like the guys on the team I walked in the first day because they went on a road trip pretty quickly and I took like a week off to myself or whatever. And the first day I walked into the locker room, I remember guys being a little awkward with me. Like, how do we talk to them? And then that went away so quick. And it was just like, I was one of the boys again. And like you said, dude, that was just my safe space. And I mean, Pittsburgh and like the city, the way they rallied around me and the team and the medical staff, like super, super lucky. I know people aren't as lucky to like find something on a Thursday, have it removed on a Monday. And I was sneaking into doctor's appointments. They were, texting with the doctor, hey, can you see him today? And like, just super lucky.
Never played with Chad. Felt that comfortable though to reach out.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's wild the amount of people that, dude, like Dave Roberts, I don't even know if I've even talked to him since, but like he had cancer back in the day, I'm pretty sure. He reached out to me. He was one of the first people, like Lance Armstrong, like all these like cancer survivor. I don't know how they got my number, who gave it to him, but dude, I had like people from every walk of life reaching out and sharing stories. And it's one of those things like, again, I'll never forget. We were in Atlanta in 2017, and one of the clubhouse workers came up to me and was like, hey dude, like been thinking a lot about you. I didn't even know this kid, and he's just like, my dad's fighting cancer now. I remember thinking like, now I have this flag I gotta carry for the cancer community a little bit. Like, I feel very connected. You know, dude, people share stories all the time with me still. Like CubsCon, I'll be signing and they're just like, can you write K cancer? You know, my little sister's fighting cancer. So it's just like, people are very comfortable sharing with me. And I had to learn how to like,
I was going to say, how do you take all that in? And
yeah,
because you obviously, that's a lot of responsibility, a lot of emotion that they're throwing at you.
Yeah, dude, I'm used to it now, I guess. Like I've gotten better at it. I'm pretty awkward in some of those situations. I wouldn't know what to say, but yeah, dude, it is a lot of responsibility. And dude, I had people in Pittsburgh come up to me in the grocery store and just be like, dude, my grandpa just passed from cancer. He loved watching you pitch. And you know, people rocking the K cancer shirts and stuff. So not a community you want to be in, but it's like a pretty tight knit, like special group of people I've gotten to meet through it.
That is strong, man. And again, I've shared with these guys before how when we were all with the Cubs, Matt Williams, that announcement happened. And I was right next to Trey, and I just saw him like rush to his phone, and he's just like, I need Matt Williams' number. Like, I need to reach out to him. Like, he felt that. And like you just being able to reach out to Chad, man, without even ever playing with him, and you felt that comfort. Baseball, again, like you said, that's special,
dude. Yeah, it's a family. Like, dude, I've had 2 Tommy John surgeries, and like the amount of, there's not a ton of guys, but like every player in the big leagues who had 2 Tommy Johns reached out to me immediately. Yeah. It's like, if you ever need anything, Nate Eovaldi, Tyler Chatwood, Daniel Hudson, just like literally every single guy.
And don't you feel like it goes so much more beyond us, man? Like, and we're lucky to have that, because whether it's like your wife is going through something, kids, I mean, parent, like you just always feel like you've heard someone else has a similar story. And then like with Chad, it makes you feel like I can reach out to this guy and lean on him for stuff. And it's like you're searching for that one guy to be vulnerable about certain subjects with. And in baseball, if you figure out or hear a guy has kind of a similar story to you, like you just run to that guy, man.
100%.
That's very cool, man.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. I mean, it's a fraternity, right? Like we're all in this together. Like we all know what we're going through, but the stuff outside the field, like other people are also going through that, and to have somebody to lean on or go to, like it's a huge thing for all of us.
It is.
From cancer to Tommy Johns, you know a little bit about overcoming adversity in terms of injury and so forth. What are your big takeaways about bouncing back from injury? And because that's a whole nother topic that some guys just struggle with.
It's interesting because like every time I've gotten hurt, this might be like a sick way of looking at it, but it's like a challenge for me to like find a way to get better, find a way to figure out why it happened. So like, it's almost like a little game for me. Like when I had like my ankle surgery, I was like, well, this is a great opportunity to clean up the way my right leg works and like do rehab and get my foot stability better. When I had my second Tommy John, I was like, okay, well, clearly my elbow's pissed off at my mechanics and the way I throw. Like, this is a good opportunity to try to completely overhaul the way I move and the way I do things. So I'd say for me, it's like almost like a fun little way to solve a problem. And then also like I feel like just blessed with like the genetics or the DNA of like, I always just try to get better. So when I get hurt, it's like, I'm just going to try to find a way to use this to get better. And the more you do it, I think the better you get at it.
Yeah.
It's like when you get hurt the first time, it's like, man, this sucks. I hope I just rehab it, come back. And then it's like, okay, well, how can I use this downtime to get better with my mental game, get better with my diet, get better with my prep, get better with my mechanics, whatever it is.
Yeah. No, that's so interesting that you said that, because I was going to ask you, were you good the first time you got injured, or sounds like you kind of like you're wired that way naturally, but it sounds like you got better over time at learning.
Yeah, I'm sure if you ask like my PTs with Pittsburgh or something for my first Tommy John, they'd be like, yeah, he did fine, he did great, whatever. But like I've definitely gotten more dialed and better. Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of practice with it.
Yeah, no, I bet. Yeah, so in the military, there's something called Warriors in Transition. So Warriors in Transition is essentially a place, it's like the rehab for soldiers. When you get injured, you come to this group, it's like the rehab group, and these injuries, they don't have arms, they don't have legs, they burned, cancer. It could be or you're either going to transition back into the Army, or you're going to transition into civilian life. A lot of different things to help these soldiers, but one of the things that I was a part of is just the mindset training for them. And so they said, once you get injured, you have to literally learn how to be positive. You have to learn like resilience tools. You have to learn how to be grateful. You have to learn like goal setting techniques and how to manage your time. And it's neat how the military does that for soldiers, but here you are, you have to kind of learn that on the fly for yourself.
I also like, and this might be a bad way of looking at it too, but I've like detached, when I've been hurt, I detach a little bit from baseball. And it's like, when I got my second TJ, I straight up went home that off season and was like, I'm just gonna work out for myself, not for baseball. I'm just gonna like totally get away. I wasn't picking up a ball till I got to spring training. It was like a good time for me to just like totally get away. I wanna be a normal person, go on vacation, do my stuff, but then like be able to go home and not even think about it.
Yeah.
And I did that with my first TJ too. I remember thinking, dude, this is a funny story. Me and Clay Holmes, stud, absolute ox. The dude is so strong. We had our TJs like a week apart. So we did all our workouts together. I remember dragging a sled at Pirate City. Like there's 4 fields. We're just out there dragging a sled in a circle. And me and him were talking, and I'm like, you think anyone's thinking about us right now? he's like, no. Like, do you think any like media members or like people in the big leagues with the Pirates are thinking about us? He's like, no. And I just remember thinking like, you know, it's just at the end of the day, you got yourself and your people in your circle, but like you learn quickly when you're hurt, the game moves on, and it's okay to like just detach and get away.
That's so true, man. Like when I blew out second time, sorry I didn't text you, but I've blown out twice too. When I flew out the second time, I was in spring training, so I got released and I had to figure out, obviously the team was paying for it, but I had to figure out where to go and how to do it. And I was just by myself for most of the time. Some of the guys that I ended up working out with were going to spring training in February, and it was like, okay, now it's just me. It's now time for me to figure it out if I want to do this for myself or whether I'm doing it for other people. And it's a great perspective.
I did, I got an ankle surgery after 21, and that was the year of the lockout or whatever. And I ended up rehabbing on my own a lot. And I actually think I beat some of the projected timelines. Like just, again, you were just away from it all and just whatever. But yeah, I think it's probably mentally healthy to like get away a little bit.
Reset.
And
Be
just,
able to hit the reset button.
It's crazy when you go on the IL or you do something like that. Like you're on the team, but you're not really on the team.
You're
like
not on the team
they
at
want
all.
you in there
You
early.
cannot contribute.
And like they want you to come in early and just get out of the way. And like then they want you in the dugout, but like you're not really on the team exactly. So it's like there's nothing you can do. You're just kind of in the way of everything else that's going on. And it's a crazy place to be.
It is. Your season stops, but then you're also creating a new season to get back to your season that just stopped.
And nobody on that team gives a shit about the grind that you've had to do because they're out there grinding at 7 o'clock to try and get a win.
Yeah,
and it's really hard because we're all
in the way.
built like the same way. We want to win. We want to do what's best for the team. But when you get hurt, you have to be a little bit selfish. Like you have to worry about yourself because you can't help the team right now. There's nothing you can do. And I had a hard time doing that the first time I got hurt. I was like, well, I've got nothing I can do to help the team. So I've just got this.
Feel guilty getting food after the game.
take the second bus. Don't shower till everyone's showered.
I didn't earn this. I don't know.
It's wild. It's like you have to wait till everybody eats before you eat, and you're just like, I don't deserve to eat before these
Somebody
guys.
just
Did you
go
feel like
first.
you're on an island? Even like staff treats you different, or coaches like don't talk to you, or even teammates like don't talk to you as much. Do you
But
ever
you
feel like-
understand because they're so locked in on everything we talk about. It's all about winning. They're locked in, and right now you're on the shelf. You cannot contribute. You're not going to help whatsoever. So sorry if they're still going to be nice to you, but they're not going to give you the same attention they would if you were active and ready to go.
Yeah. There's ways you can help the team, maybe like studying. Like when I was hurt, I'd try and study the pitchers and find like, hey, has this guy got a tip? And like I'd be on the iPad scrolling and be like, all right, what's this guy doing? And like there's things like that, but like there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, there's literally only so much you can do.
I was a hell of a cheerleader though.
cheerleader?
You should have seen me.
In the bullpen. I want to watch one game in the bullpen in my whole career.
That bullpen.
I've gone in there in BP a couple times, and
2023, last series of the year, it was all hands on deck. We were still in it a little bit. We were in Milwaukee. They sent me to the pen, and we scored like 6 runs in the first inning, and everyone's going crazy, putting, the money in the hat for who's going to hit a homer. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. It's electric out here.
Dude,
and then the phone rang for me to pitch, and I was like, oh. That's an adrenaline. Like when I've made 200 big league starts, like I still get nervous and adrenaline, but it's like, it's part of the routine and I'm used to it. That adrenaline of the phone ringing and then being like, hey, you're up was wild.
dude, that's so funny
That
you
was
say
wild.
Because I mean, we were talking about last year how, like, it's the Yankees, right? Like, you bring in Nestor, I love how much Booney is like, this is my guy. I trust him that much. But then, like you're saying, as a starter, that is so different than what you've been doing. Like, I don't think people truly understand, like, how is it different? He's throwing a baseball, but it is, right?
It is different, yeah. I got my first save in Milwaukee that night, first career save, hopefully my only one, but they were like, we want to give you a beer shower. And I was like, how about I buy everyone beers at the hotel instead? Like the Nestor thing, I kind of I would, as a manager, still have an easier time sleeping knowing that I lost with one of my dogs.
Right.
Not to diss anyone else, but like, I don't know.
Exactly.
Nestor's he was really good.
And I feel like everyone in that clubhouse, when like everyone can go home and like you said, like you're going to sleep at night knowing, hey, that's one of our guys. Like he's a dog, and we just got beat that night.
Yeah.
That's strong when a team can recognize that, right? Dude, I love it, man. Like I love how curious you are, because I feel like that's how with athletes, especially with baseball, with us, it's like baseball, hitting, pitching, you're always continually on your craft. You know how like you're gonna get better. You know what you need to do to succeed. And then the curiosity of like, okay, I don't want to be sore anymore. How do I make myself less sore? Okay, I can eat better. I can sleep better. I can do this. I can run. I can work out. Like that's just how it just keeps getting better and better. And the time thing, like you guys are saying, like that's just how that routine just continues to get better with experience.
You're gonna be curious and tinkering all the time. Like I'm a big tinkerer. Like I'm always asking guys about their pitch grips, tinkering with things. It's like, it's a dangerous game because you better be sure you're tinkering on the right things, because at the same time, some of the best players I've been around are just so steady and good at what they do. Mm-hmm. But until I get to their level, I'm gonna always keep tinkering.
And I was trying to wrap it up, Jamo, but goddamn it. How do you know when you're tinkering with stuff? How do you know, like, oh, I'm gonna trust that a little more, or like it's time to get it out during the season because it's not on the fly?
I'm working on a new changeup right now.
Oh, let's go.
This is my 15th spring training. I've been working on a changeup every year. I faced our minor league guys the other day. I got a swing and miss on a pretty good changeup. And Jed, our team president, was watching, and I walked off the field and I was like, Jed, this is my 15th spring, and this might be the first time I've ever I might have a changeup.
We just landed it. Landed it, baby.
There's big things coming, Jed.
I might have a changeup this year. We'll see. Like last year, I was working on a splitty, and Jan Gomes caught one of my pens, and afterwards, I was like, "How was it?" And he's just like, "Not very good."
It doesn't feel
you should probably leave that in Arizona when we go to Chicago.
Thank God he told you that, right?
Yeah.
There's
No, it was
something
awful.
There's something too, like the tinkering though. Is like, how long do you play with it for? Like, how long is it gonna go on? Like, when you're in the box, you're tinkering with stuff. Like, how many at bats is it till you get to that success or like that feeling you want? And like as a pitcher, I don't know how many pitches you got to throw to be like, oh, that felt good. Like I like
smashed
that.
one time and I'll bag it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut that one down, boys.
It's hard, man, when like you're competing and all of a sudden, even if it's just a strike and you get beat, you're just like, I just need to compete again.
Yeah,
like,
we're gonna abort this.
The 10%, right?
Back to the drawing
get up
board,
there
yeah.
and figure out how to do this. Like, you just go to it, man. That's
Be an
where you
athlete.
go.
Like us.
Yeah. Jamo, man, continue to do what you're doing, man. Again, I enjoyed my time. Your story is even better. You're funny as shit, dude. I think, hey, by the way, big conversation on here. We always ask guys, who's the mic guy?
Oh,
Yes.
I think you're ready, buddy.
Dude.
I think it's your time.
everyone wanted me to do it last year, and I wasn't ready yet. I let Talkman do it a little bit last year. He was pretty good.
Okay, I'm gonna be cool. This is a friendly show, but Talkman does not need to be doing the mic. You need to be doing the mic. Get on the bus,
I'll
get
see.
the microphone. You're the guy.
Get me a few glasses of wine on a flight, and there's a good
go.
chance I'll hop on the mic this year.